So what I want to cover in this video is how to price your SEO services for local businesses. So I'm going to break it into two parts. The first part is the first month. In the first month of a brand new local business client, there's going to be a lot of things you do that you won't do again. So we're going to price that differently than how we price out a monthly ongoing engagement. Now, I personally don't like to charge a different price for the first month than for ongoing months. So what we're going to try to do is to choose a scope of work that will allow us to have the same price, but we get everything done that we need to get done in that first month. Now, an important note about SEO pricing. There are really two different ways that you can price SEO services. One is what I call a scope of work-based pricing. This means you're going to tell the client what you're going to do, how many articles you're going to write, how many pages you're going to optimize, how many links you're going to build, and then you're going to do that. The other way is what we refer to as SEO black box pricing. What this means is you will tell a client what your monthly price is, they will pay you every month, you won't tell them what you're going to do, and we're all going to hope rate position improves. I dramatically prefer scope of work-based pricing. It's transparent, you know what you're going to deliver, the client knows what they're going to get, and if for whatever reason rank position doesn't improve, you can at least be sure the client knows you're delivering what you said you would deliver. Of course, no client will stick with you forever if they're paying you for SEO and the price doesn't improve, but let me tell you, that conversation is a lot harder if you're using SEO black box pricing. Now, my name is Caleb Ulku. I started an SEO agency in 2016, and it took me about 3 years to build it to a 7-figure agency. Since then, I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs start their own SEO agencies and grow them. So let's talk about local SEO and how to price it for a brand new client. I'm going to come on over to the computer and show you my scope-based pricing worksheet. So here's my very fancy Excel sheet, and I'm going to provide a link to download this if you want to use this. I'm going to put a link in the comments so you can grab this for yourself and play around with it. So like I mentioned, there are two different buckets we're going to use for the scope-based pricing, the first month and the ongoing SEO. And the reason for that is in this first month, there's a bunch of stuff that we only need to do this one time. So citations. Some local businesses have citations, some local businesses don't have citations, some have citations that aren't very accurate anymore. Now, years ago, citations were a much more important ranking factor for local search than they are today. That being said, citations still help. And in fact, the Google API leak shows citations as an attribute for local SEO. So we're still going to do citations. It's $257, and we only need to do it once. Now, let me show you where to go if you need a source for citations and you don't want to hire someone to do it yourself. This is my recommended provider. We can see we have the citations right there, $257. That's the price that I put in, assuming that you're going to use them. If you have your own in-house team, that's fine. If you don't, and you have someone else that you prefer, go ahead and use them too. The point here is that we want to sign up your local client's website for as many citations as we can find, and it's a good source of links, but more importantly, it establishes your business as a real business. Google likes to see online evidence that your client business actually exists, and a really quick and easy way to do that is citations. The other thing we're going to do in this first month is a press release. Now, I say this is a list of things that we do once and then never again. Honestly, a press release is probably something that you should be doing every 6 to 9 months, but it's not regular. So the first month press release, $197. And again, it's right there, $197. So we're going to do that press release. Okay. Now, GBP optimization. We're going to use AI to do GBP optimization. I have another video on this channel where I break down exactly what we do for GBP optimization. I'll give you some prompts on that, how to use ChatGPT to help you with this. So I'm not going to break that down here, but just know that it costs me about $70 to do. And that's the time for my employee to do it. So feel free to adjust this number to whatever it is that it's costing you to get this done. Homepage optimization. In that same video, I break down how to use ChatGPT to optimize the homepage so that it's consistent with the Google Business Profile. So again, I'm not going to break that down here. Just know that it takes my team member about $50 worth of time to make that happen. Now, these yellow cells And of course, feel free to change anything you would like, but these yellow cells are designed to be cells that you change. So in this first month, we can't just do citations, press release, and optimization. We also want to create service pages. Part of that is because we want to get them results as fast as possible. Of course, the sooner we can give clients results, the more likely they are to stay with us for the long term. But on top of that, delivering new pages of content, new service pages, is a much more effective way to show a client that you're doing something versus giving them like an Excel sheet with a bunch of citations. A lot of clients won't know what that means, and they won't appreciate what it took to get that. Same thing for the press release or these other services. These need to be done, but they're not going to impress your clients, usually. Service pages, much more likely to impress your clients. So we're going to create 2 of them. And the reason I chose 2 is so that our quoted price reasonably lines up with the ongoing estimate. You could do 1, you could do 5, you could do 10. It depends on what price point you're interested in quoting for this particular client. Now I'm going to assume 1,500 words per page. It might be a little bit more, it might be a little bit less, but that's usually a pretty good estimate. And dollar per word, and you can see that 7 cents per word. That comes straight out of the same source. That being said, if you know how to run ChatGPT to get high quality content, it's almost certainly going to be more cost effective for you to do this yourself versus hiring a service to do ChatGPT for written content. So this is one where I'd recommend you learn how to use ChatGPT to run this content. I have a video on this channel where I break down exactly how to use it and give you prompts to use ChatGPT to write high quality content. So then it's going to calculate the dollars for the service pages and link. Okay, so we always know that we need external links. Okay, if we don't get external links, we're not going to rank. That sometimes Google has said that internal links aren't important. We know that is not the case. If you want to rank, you need links, even in the modern Google algorithm. And we know the leaked attributes, again, that link quality, a number of links, these are all important attributes that's in that search API documentation. So we know that we need links. $31 per link, that came from, again, the same source. 5 links are 157, so that works out to $31 a piece. And we're going to get 2 links, and the reason for 2 is because we created 2 service pages. So every page of content that we publish, we're going to get an external link to point to that page. Remember that external links is what Google uses as a sign of quality. This was laid out in the original 1998 Stanford dissertation paper by Larry Page. This is the game-changing reason why Google is the company it is today, because he had the idea to use links from other websites as a sign of quality, and they're still using that today. Okay, so then we're going to add up all of the money that we spent in the citations, the press release, optimizations, the service pages for the content, the links. We're going to add it all up. And here I've chosen to go with a 50% margin. So we're going to quote the client $1,694 a month. Now, one quick note. One thing that I really like doing is providing clients with a good, better, best. So maybe this is the good and you offer them, or maybe this is the better, and you'll offer them a good where there's no service pages created and you'll quote $1,200. So if I'm a client and I'm like $1,200 for no service pages, $1,700 for 2 service pages, man, that's a really good deal. Those 2 service pages for the extra increment, really want to go that route. And then maybe you'll quote them a best where you do 20 service pages for, a much higher price, $6,000 or something like that. Now, I say service pages here, but this could be any type of page. It could be service pages or supporting content pages. But for month 1, it's usually going to be service pages. So that's how that month 1 estimate comes together. Now for ongoing, again, we don't need to do citations, a press release, GVP optimization, we don't need to do this every single month. So for ongoing, we're just going to crank out pages, okay? We know that topical relevance, topical authority is a huge part of Google's rank algorithm. So we want to create a lot of pages about so that we can establish topical relevance for the keywords we're trying to rank for, okay? So we're going to choose a number of pages created so that this quoted price is roughly equivalent to this quoted price. So if we did the good option where we want $1,100, then maybe we're going to do 4 pages here, and then we're going to get pretty close. And if we have the best option where say we're going to do 15 pages and we're going to quote them $5,000, now we're going to increase this until we get to $5,000, and we're going to say maybe 19 pages a month. So we're going to play with these 2 numbers until we get to reasonably equivalent values. But for now, we'll just go with the $1,600 price. So we're going to do 6 pages a month. That's 1,500 words, 7 cents a word. And again, remember I said 7 cents per word is expensive. If you wanted to do this yourself, you could probably do this for as cheap as 2 cents a word. And then if you can do it for 2 cents a word, you can either increase your scope of work, or even more fun, you can increase your margin, right? So that this price keeps going up. So there's any number of ways that you can utilize this to get where you want to be. But again, we'll just leave it here. And we'll, as before, every time we publish an article, we're going to source a link to it. That's how Google knows it's a quality article. So the number of links matches the number of pages created. We have a total number of words. This is an excellent thing that you can show your client. Look, we're going to create 9,000 words a month for you. It's going to cost the $800, 50% margin, and your gross price or your quoted price is reasonably the same here. So that's how we quote a local SEO engagement. Now, like I said, check in the comments below. Put a link there so you can download this tool. You can play around with it. It's pretty simple, but why build something if I'll just give it to you for free? No problem. And like I said, check out those other videos, how to optimize a GBP with AI. That one's here. And how to use ChatGPT to effectively write content so you can beat my 7 cent per word cost. I'm going to link that video here.